guys, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first video, hi, I'm Alaina, and this is The Organized Money, where we talk about planning life and managing money. In today's video, we are going to be diving into my 4-part savings system. These are the 4 areas that I decided to save money, and we're going to talk about where I decided to put it and how much I decided to put in each one of my categories. When I first started my financial journey, I only had one savings account, and I would just put money in there every single time I could. Well, because I only had one, that one account could not handle all of the different types of emergencies that were coming my way. And I realized that I had to have a more strategic approach, a more streamlined approach, a more organized approach in order to be able to be prepared for anything that could possibly come our way. And so if you always run out of money out of your emergency account, or if you feel like your money does not have any direction, then I believe that this video will definitely be for you. So let's go ahead and jump into my 4-part savings system. My top savings account, and the #1 savings account that I always tell people to start off first, is your emergency fund. Now, your emergency fund is for your living expenses if you were to lose your income. So this money is specifically for living expenses, bills that you would need to cover if you had no extra money coming into your house because you lost your job or something happened and you are unable to work. Most experts usually recommend 3 to 6 months of expenses. My current emergency fund, my goal has been 6 months of expenses in this account, and to set it to be a high yield savings account. And you can even decide what expenses you would cover under an emergency. I would only cover my home, my utilities, my food, and travel, which is car, gas, and any other expenses that I might have there. But if I lost my job, I would get rid of all of my subscriptions. I probably would not worry about paying any of my credit cards. I would need to base it down to the essentials to make sure that I could cover exactly what I needed just for our home to survive for those 6 months. But that's my very first category. Every single week, I am putting a small amount of money into my emergency fund. Right now, it could be $50 to $200 that I'm going to be putting toward this account every single time I get paid. And because we are talking about having 6 months of expenses in this account, you definitely want to have this one as a high yield savings account. High yield savings accounts are only accessible online. However, the percentages on them are much, much higher, and you're definitely going to make a little bit of money off of the money that you have in these accounts. My high yield savings account is with American Express, but I also know that Ally has a great one, and they have plenty of online banks where you can open one. But this is the very first savings account that you need to have, and the very first strategy that you need to set up. How are you going to save for long-term expenses in case anything happens to your money right now? What's the goal amount that you need to have in that account? How much is 6 months of expenses, or 3 months of expenses, or 9 months of expenses? Whatever amount that you need to feel comfortable. How much do you need? How much are you able to set aside every single time you get paid? And where are you going to put it? And remember, your emergency account is just going to sit there. It is under your just in case bucket, but it is one of the most important savings accounts that you can create. So definitely start with that one. My second savings account under my savings system is my short-term expected expenses. So when we talk about short-term expected expenses, I am talking about expenses where we know the date. We know when they are coming. However, they are not included in our regular monthly budget. And this is because they usually do not happen every single month. We are talking about things like Christmas, anniversaries, your birthday. These are expenses that can come into the mix and can really throw off our budget if we aren't paying attention to when they are coming. The thing about these expenses that make them so tricky is that they are celebratory. Usually we are in full-blown celebration mode, and when we are in that mode, we tend to spend a lot of money because we are happy. And so preparing for birthdays, anniversaries, and other celebrations is essential to your financial journey, because we don't want this one celebration to throw us off on our financial goals. And so my short-term expected expenses account is a regular savings account that I have attached to my other accounts with my bank, where I will transfer a small amount of money into this account every single time that I get paid to prepare for all of those expected expenses. How much I put into this account depends on what event is coming up next. So for instance, in the month of July, I have my birthday and my husband's birthday. So I am going to be putting a little bit more into my short-term savings account for the next month or so. But around the middle of the year, when I don't have as many birthdays kind of coming up, I don't put as much as I need into those particular accounts. So you decide how much you need for each one of these categories, or when you need to start heavily putting into your short-term savings account, and then you decide when not to. For my long-term savings account, I am always contributing into this account all throughout the year until I hit my 6-month goal of expenses. I will continuously be putting money into my emergency fund. However, with my short-term expected expenses, I'm not always putting money into that account because sometimes we don't have that much coming up. I don't have a lot of events, and I may not have to put that much into that account, if anything at all. But other times I need to put a lot. Currently, it is heavily in rotation because we have hurricane season, and I usually save some money to prepare in case we have to evacuate into this account. I will also put money aside for my birthday, my husband's birthday, our children's birthdays, because we're always doing some big celebration and we may even be taking a trip. And so I like to prepare for that as well. Or it could even be preparing for Christmas. But putting some money aside into this account every single time you get paid is definitely going to help you when those expected expenses start to come around. You'll already have money set aside for the birthday celebration that you want to do, or for your anniversary, or for Christmas, or for whatever could possibly be coming down the line. And this account will help you to stay on budget in the midst of your celebration. And that's definitely a win. So create you a short-term expected expenses account. The third savings account that you need to create, a part of your 4-part savings system, is short-term unexpected expenses. I consider this account the account that will save you from debt, because one of the biggest creation of debt is not when we're being impulsive. It's when life catches us off guard. It's when we have a really big repair that we did not prepare for, we had no idea was coming, but we have to do. And when that happens, it can cause us to need a large amount of money in a short period of time, and then we pull out our credit card. So this account is a tweak to the expected expenses account. This is your short-term unexpected expenses account. This is for when a repair needs to happen, when your tire goes flat, when something happens with the air conditioner in your home. This is an account that has some extra money to pay for those unexpected expenses. Now, you could keep this money along with your short-term expected expenses, but I actually like to keep everything pretty separate because I like to have clear defined goals around each one of my savings. So I like to use a savings app for my unexpected expenses. The app that I am currently using is called Capital. Now, this video is not sponsored. However, Capital does have an affiliate link, and if you use my link, I get $25 and you get $25 to start your account. But also, if you share your link with someone else in your life, then you also get $25 when they open up their account, and they get $25 for opening up their account. So I do really love the app. I have used it for a couple of years. I've talked about it on my channel a nice number of times. I just really do like it. So this video isn't sponsored, but I have been using it for quite some time to help me to save for those unexpected expenses. One thing that I really do love about the app is I am able to divide up and categorize the different expenses that I have. I'm able to kind of separate my money within the app and see how much each particular category has. So I have mine divided up by home repairs and car repairs, and then other. My other is just for anything else random that could possibly come up with the kids or with my family, or something with the house that I just need to jump on and do. But every single time I get paid, $50 automatically transfers into this app. I let it sit, I let it build, and then if anything was to happen and we have a repair coming down the line, I know exactly where I'm going to go. Now, if you decide to use this app, it does take about 2 days for the money to transfer back and forth from your checking account. So that is something to note, just in case you may decide not to use this particular account for that. But it's an amazing app. I absolutely love it because I know I can set different goals, have a strategy around my savings. I love having it in this app because it's kind of separate from my checking account. I don't feel like I can easily move the money back over, but I do know that I have it and it is pretty accessible. It doesn't take as long as the high yield savings account. However, it's not right in my account where I can just transfer it back over and just use it. It's like that perfect spot of unreachable but still kind of reachable. But like I said, this one is for any unexpected expenses, anything that could possibly come up that could throw off my entire budget. I can transfer money over from my Capital app and I will have what I need for any repair that's coming down the line. And my fourth part of my savings system is my cash envelope. Now my cash envelopes is one of my favorite ways to save money, and I think it's because it's the act of actually pulling out the money and putting it into envelopes and highlighting. I really love being interactive and really involved with my savings. So I think I just enjoy this way the most, but I use my cash envelopes in order to save for my goal. I feel like many times we will forget to save for the things that we want to do. Whether it's pay off debt, travel, or build a business, there is something else that you would love to do with your money. Something that's calling you to purpose, and you should definitely be saving for that thing. So right now I am using my cash envelopes for two major goals. And the very first one is my debt reduction goal, because I know that if I'm able to pay off this debt, then I am going to be able to do even more things that I love with my money. So that is my very first goal. And then my second goal is to put more money toward my travel. My husband and I do like to take several trips throughout the year, and I do like to save for that because I don't want to go over on our monthly budget. So I like to put some cash aside into my cash saving envelope for my travel. Now this is the only savings category that I have where I am not consistently putting money into it every single week. And that is because I'm usually saving for my goals when I get a little bit of extra money. It's not actually baked into my budget. However, because I am on variable income, that can happen various times throughout the month. If I get an extra speaking engagement that I did not plan for, if I have a really good month on Etsy, or if I'm doing a bunch of different workshops, many times I will take the extra money that I will make from those things and I will use them to stuff my cash envelope. So I don't have a set goal, but I am putting money into it every single chance I can. And I love to use my 30-day savings envelope for this because every time I hit $1,000, I will take the cash and then I will deposit it into my account, and I will either pay down debt or I might put something toward an upcoming trip. It just depends on what's coming down the line first. And I love doing this because I feel like I'm making a lot of progress when it's like $1,000 instead of putting like 100 here or 200 there. So guys, those are the 4 savings accounts that I am currently using. If you notice, I have a set amount of rules of how I am spending this money. I have decided how I am going to store this money. I've also decided my categories and what goes into each bucket, and you definitely need to do that in order to have an organized savings system. If you do this, you'll be prepared for events. You'll even be prepared for unplanned emergencies. This is the strategy that you need to create in order to set a solid foundation around your finances. You have this 4-part system set up, and there won't be much that can come at you and hurt you with your money. So if you try this one out, please let me know in the comments. And if you have another savings account that you are currently using, please let us know in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. I would love to talk about it, and I will see you all in my next video. Until then, keep organizing your life so that you can achieve your dreams. Bye guys.